Okay, there we go. So yeah, so I would just use that that video. It'll tell you about the color codes. But you know, what's most important is that, do you have a setup? Do you have a trading setup? And did it trigger an entry for you? It's on the colors that I use on the charts. Yeah. Yeah, it's right there. So that answers that. But again, you know, the trailing stops, I mean, I think that if you are in a setup that comes from a daily chart, for example, and you get up into those extension targets, again, go down to a lower time frame chart, you know, whether it's a 30-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, and because you know that we're overextended, again, where would you place the prior, or a stop, prior swing low? You know, maybe you had one here, and then you moved it up to underneath here. You'd be stopped out here. Okay? Because you're not going to see these swing lows on the daily chart, so you can't use the daily chart for it, because you won't see it. Okay, other questions? Or if you want to look at a different example for a stop out, let me know. Where's that? Well, when to flip is when you have a setup. I'm not going to tell you, oh, it got up to the 1618 extension, exit your long and go to short. No, it doesn't work that way. You find a new setup the other way. So one of the things I showed you in the video last night was this. Notice that when you have, you know, you're shifting from a bullish pattern of higher highs and higher lows to potentially lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so I'm not going to have you sell it up here. What I told you was that we had basically to watch, since we had the moving average crossover and you took out a prior swing low, you want to watch the next pullback for a possible failure. So your setup to go the other way would have been against resistance, which basically came in with 618 retracement and symmetry. So that's when you could look to shift to the other side. I'm not sure how you would do percentage for trailing stops. Again, I just have one way of looking at it. I mean, there might be, like, there might be people that use something like average true range, and when it breaks that, they exit. Okay, but I'm just telling you what I would look at. But, you know, other methods would be fine, but obviously you have to test them first. So when do you have a setup? I mean, you don't just flip because we think that, you know, we have timing or something. You have to wait for that setup. So you have your definition of risk. So your definition of risk, if you had done this, would have been above here. So it's not like, okay, no, I'm selling everything I own and also getting short at the same time. That's not really how I do it. Well, the bold ones, what are they? Symmetry is very important. 618 is really important. Actually, let me see what. I don't even, yeah, oh, I do have the 618 bolded. Extensions are very important because this is where moves tend to terminate. Okay, but what's important is, do you have a setup? Do you have a two-step pattern? Do you have a price cluster? Or do you have a symmetry setup? Now, if you also have timing with it, yes, definitely pay attention because it increases the odds for the setup to play out. Yeah, you want to do, I mean, all the information is pretty much in here. All right, let's see. Well, I want to make this, what, 200%? View, zoom. Okay, I mean, this is just a little quickie on the analysis, but again, if you've never seen my introduction to Fibonacci time and price analysis, I mean, we did one a couple weeks ago when we had that psycho dude try and enter and cuss us out. You know, you can watch that because it gives all the basics. But again, there's only 3 official trade setups. Okay, well, 3 official trade setups. Okay, Fibonacci price clusters, symmetry setups, and 2-step pattern setups. The 2-step pattern, let me see if I have the, it's basically a zigzag pattern that is also a Fibonacci price cluster. So 2-step, okay, I have a 2-step file folder, so let me grab that. Here it is. But anyway, it's just one of the setups. So price cluster is 3 or more Fibonacci price relationships that come together within a relatively tight range. Symmetry setup, which is just, you know, using a 100% projection. Or a 2-step pattern setup, which includes specific ratios. Okay? So as far as, we don't see these very, very often. Okay? I mean, they occur, but not every day. But the 2-step pattern is basically, let me get my arrows here. It's basically a, a trend swing that is corrected with a zigzag pattern into what we identify as 2-step pattern support. And if it holds, you look for a 1272 extension as your target of the full zigzag. So 1272 is of the full zigzag. And same thing, just reversed, 2-step sell. Okay, trend move, zigzag pattern with specific ratios gives you the resistance. If the 2-step plays out, it shows up on any time frame. It shows up on daily charts, it shows up on all charts. And you'd look for like that. I mean, there might be some that are on a lower time frame chart, but I mean, I don't remember talking about many 2-step patterns in the videos for quite some time. Here and there we'll see one, and I try and point it out to you. But, you're just not going to see them as much as the other 2 setups. Now that's just kind of what it looks as far as like a zigzag. And what happens is that we have to have, if it's going to be the kind of 2-step I use, the first swing up is going to be similar or equal to the second swing. So that's part of, the specificness of the pattern. Let's see what I have here. Yep. I can give you this. And then I can give you this. You can download that. So zigzag corrective pattern with very specific ratios that need to come together. Okay. And the first swing of the zigzag needs to be similar to the second swing down. That's what I showed you, right? These 2 are going to be similar. Okay. And then you're going to take the center of the zigzag and you're going to run an extension, high to low extension, and I want to see it overlap at the 1272 with a 1272 or 1618 or 2618. And then the third part of the pattern is you're going to look at a retracement of the prior trend swing and see if it also matches up maybe with a 618 retracement or a 786 retracement. Okay, but you have it. Initial target's always 1272 of the full zigzag. Target 2 is 1618, target 3 is 2618. But we haven't had very many. But the best setups are basically price clusters with symmetry, that include symmetry. You know, you'll notice that there are a lot of trades that we look at on both the daily charts and the intraday charts, and there are always trade setups for you. But if somebody comes in and just tries to trade against a 382 retracement, that's a mistake. It needs to be one of these setups. At least this is what I'm doing. Okay, so those are the 3 official trade setups. Symmetry by itself obviously is a good one. Also, you know, symmetry is very powerful. It's a simple concept, but it's yet very powerful. And again, the way you make money is setup plus trigger equals trade entry, and then you manage it. Okay, managing means, you know, where are you putting your initial stop? When are you going to move to a break-even stop if you're going to do that? When are you going to start trailing a stop? And when are you going to exit the trade? Personally, I think you're better off just exiting the trade with a trailing stop, because if you just sell at the 1272 and it goes to the 2618, you're going to be pissed at yourself. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Also, the best trade setups, okay? So I'm basically going to go over the Royal setup when I do Kramer on August 1st, because that's one of the best setups. That's what's been giving you some of the best trade setups on the daily charts in recent months. Why? Because we have all of the moving averages on the right side, and that makes it high probability. You don't have to have timing with everything, okay? The setups by themselves you can use. It helps when it also matches up with timing, but you don't have to have timing. So if you're going to look at the best, the biggest and best, I'll say the Royal setup, you know, where you have a cluster or symmetry and it's pulled back within an uptrend where all the moving averages are on the right side, followed by a 15 or 30 minute chart trigger. You know, I mean, you definitely, if you're looking at a pattern of lower lows and lower highs, the better trades should be on the sell side, right? Higher highs, higher lows, better trades should be on the buy side. Yeah, the Royal setup, I don't know that I've done a video on that, but I will be going over it and describing it on Kramer. But bottom line, if you see, you know, a chart set up in front of you, you know, on one of the 8 charts or the charts that I do in the end of day video, yeah, I don't know if, I imagine that it would be on YouTube, but honestly, the last couple of times where I did his show when I wasn't there in person, they didn't record it. They were in the past, and they haven't done it recently, so I know that I'm going to record the show here. I might have to, you know, take the picture on my phone. It's probably going to be about a 5 to 7 minute video. Let's see. Yeah, triggers. Okay, well, and again, this is why I have that post that gives you all of these videos. And let me see if I still have that. First of all, there are tons of videos on the triggers. NASDAQ setup and trigger, but it's just like a single one. But then I think I have, this is another example how to use the work. If you watch this video, I go over the setups and the, you know, the triggers there. But the trigger is simply, let's see, do I have the, so there are a few single ones, but these other, a couple of these other videos, yeah, intro to the methodology and how to use trigger entries. You know, I've done it over and over again. And that's why I put that. It doesn't seem like anybody who joins actually looks at this stuff. Okay, but it's supposed to be all there on the website. But watch one of those videos. But we can do, let me just see what else I have on here. Here's the description of the triggers. Okay, 834 EMA crossover, and I like to see it also take out a prior swing high. So it's also here. Here's the swing trading plan. Okay, this is on the website, but I don't think anybody knows how to find it. But we can show, so an example of what time frame trigger are you talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm just going to ask that or answer that question. So, yeah, you're not always going to have, okay, there's a question about when the 120-minute chart is different than the moving averages on the 10-minute charts, which direction to use. Well, what time frame you want to trade. So, for example, on this chart, on the 30-minute time frame, this was your setup. If the 834 is bearish and you have a pattern of lower lows and lower highs, and this is the time frame you're trading, yeah, I'd look at the sell side, and then use something like a 1-minute chart. This was a 30-minute chart. Use something like a 1-minute chart to trigger an entry. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show. Yeah, because this happened too long ago for me to show you where that trigger would come in. But let's look at a different example. All right, well, let's say we have, well, I'm going to go to, where is my Thinkorswim? I've got to open that one up. Yeah, you can print the document. I mean, isn't it, yeah, it's a regular document. All right, so here, let me do this. All right, so look at the support that we had here on S&P on the daily chart, 45.57, or yeah, 45.57 and a half. So let's change this. Now, again, depends on what trigger you use, what trigger time frame. If you're day trading, you're going to use something like a 1-minute chart or a 377 tick chart. On the 1-minute chart, this triggered. Okay, but if you want a faster entry, you're going to use a tick chart. Okay, so this one would have gotten you involved maybe around 45.63 using a 1-minute chart. Let's try and remember that. I don't know. But if you go to a tick chart, 377 tick chart, let's see where that would have triggered. Well, here's the crossover, here's the prior swing high. So around 45.59. So it would have been sooner. Okay, so that's why some people will use a 377 tick chart. But you can see that over on the left-hand side of this chart, it's a pattern of lower lows and lower highs as you move into that support. Okay, and what we want to see is we want to see the 834 EMA crossover, and ideally I want to see it also take out a prior swing high. I want to see the pattern shift, because it shifts from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows once we take out this high. Okay, so that's why I have it written down that I'm looking for not only the moving average crossover, but also for a buy that it takes out a prior swing high, for a sell it takes out a prior swing low. Okay, so that's, you know, that's what we're looking at. Again, you can choose the time frame. I think for day traders, I think a 377 tick chart's great to look at. And some people even protected, seriously, just click, there's got to be something that says unprotected, because here it is. when it goes to you, maybe it goes protected, but you should be able to just click on something that says allow or whatever. It shouldn't be. I mean, it shouldn't be. I mean, I don't have it protected, but maybe when it goes to you, it goes that way. But there should be something that you can click that takes that off. I mean, because I've been posting it for months, and I don't know, I haven't heard anybody else say that they couldn't see it, that they couldn't read it. You know, because this is basically your intro, you know, to guidelines into using the work, suggested day trading plan, swing trading plan, highest probability trade setups. You know, that's on the bottom. Moving averages that I use, it's all in there. So I can post it on the site again. Well, I mean, I've posted it on the site multiple times. I do have the PDF version. Or here, let me just, I'll give you here. See if you can open that up. This is Thinkorswim. The 377 tick chart is Thinkorswim. Now, there's also some really neat charts on, I've got to open it though. Okay, Ninja Trader. I mean, most of your charts should, let's see. You know, there's a lot of chart platforms that'll give you tick charts. There are some that won't, but yeah, well, you'd have to ask them what they have. I mean, same thing though in this one I'm using slightly differently. This is a 377 tick chart, but I believe I'm using the 513 EMA crossover for a slightly faster trigger. Okay, that's definitely more aggressive. But as far as, let me give you another example of a trigger. Let's see where we got something decent. Not on this set of charts. I mean, we did have a bit of a bounce on the IWM, so let's look at that. So here's the support zone. You know, 194.11 to 27. Now, I doubt that it's triggered for a swing trade. All right. For that, I would have to look at, let's say, a 15-minute chart. And after it's pulled back, did it trigger for a swing trade? Hell no. Did it trigger for a day trade? Well, then go down to a 1-minute chart. Did it? I mean, it did. Whoops. I have to go back, get that back. You know, I just have to go back to another chart and do this again because, like on a 1-minute chart, was there a trigger? Yeah. You know, this one swing was worth a little bit, you know, for a day trade. Okay, not a huge rally that was straight up or anything, but there were day trade triggers against it. Let me see what else I have under here. Yeah, I was going to do the video. I still have to do the video. Yeah, I mean, these are levels that we're going to have coming up tomorrow for Apple, but a trigger, not a 1-minute chart. We're going to look at a 15-minute chart, and we would need to see the 834 EMA cross back to the upside and ideally take out a prior swing high. We're nowhere near it, but can you start to look for day trade triggers off of it? Sure. Oh, okay. So I will repost that. Right now I'm having a problem finding where my Elliott Wave Trader is. So I'm just going to open it again. All right, I'm going to just post this again because it doesn't let you post documents. It's asking me for a time frame. All right, so I just posted it. The only place where IWM triggered was for a day trade. Okay, on a 1 minute chart. Maybe there was one on a 5 minute chart. I don't know, but I'll look at the 1 minute. But I know it didn't trigger, like you're not supposed to be. For me, I wouldn't be long because it didn't trigger on, for a swing trade. Okay, again, so let's say we get into the zone 192.07 to 36 tomorrow. Let's say you choose to use the aggressive swing trade trigger. Well, then you don't get in unless you have the 834 EMA crossover, and it also takes out a prior swing high. But if you get confused with the swing highs and are going to throw up your hands in the air and tell you, say you can't figure it out, then just use the crossover. Okay? I mean, there's more protection when you also use the prior swing high or swing low, but like for example, if you guys remember the last setup that we had in Apple, where did it trigger? Well, here's the moving average crossover, though it was with a gap. When you have a gap like that, honestly, I don't like taking a trigger when there's a gap, because then a lot of times it's too far away from your definition of risk. So what you can do in that case is you can wait for the pullback. Like here, this is a 15-minute chart. It looks like you had almost a symmetrical pullback. Actually, I can probably do that chart over here. All right, let's go to a 15-minute chart. 15, not 30. Okay, and then chart load template. I'm using the 834 EMA template. Well, first of all, with the last setup, again, here's your trigger. When you had the crossover, you also took out prior swing high. So if it's too far away from your definition of risk, you can wait for a pullback. And here, for example, you pull back into a 618. I'm not sure if there's symmetry here. I'm going to try it. If I run this high to this low. Okay, we were a little bit through that. Okay, but you had a 618 retracement. And you could have said, well, I'm waiting for the pullback. And then if it triggers again on like a 1 minute chart, I'll take it. But then you have to go down to the 1 minute chart after the pullback. So that would have been your trigger for that original buy setup that we had, what, a week or two ago? I mean, I don't remember exactly when it is because I already took it off. But then as far as the new support that I'm giving you on the daily charts, again, wait for this to cross back to the upside and take out a prior swing high. We're nowhere near it. I mean, there would have been sell triggers with some of these. Like, okay, now this is not an official setup in Google. It was a single level, but it was resistance. So let's make believe that was a cluster. Let's see what that looks like. Google, if we go down to a 15-minute chart, I'm going to load the template with the 834 EMA combo. Okay. Let's say you were long and you knew you were moving into resistance there. Where's your sell trigger? Because you can just use the sell trigger as an exit too. Let's say you were long Google. But here, we hit resistance. We couldn't clear it. Here's your crossover. Look to the left, see if it took out a prior swing low. Yes, it did. You could be short Google from there. I mean, that's your sell trigger. Took out a prior swing low, had the moving average crossover. This is a 15-minute chart. Again, you have to choose what time frames you want to use to trigger. The shorter time frames are going to be, for day trades. You want to wait for a better trigger or better confirmation, either the 15 or 30-minute chart for the others. Yeah, I mean, you should have access to charts if you're trading, so just add the 834 EMA combo on the charts. Oh, what is the 8? It's an 8 EMA and a 34 EMA. Okay, it's just a moving average, exponential moving average. And in this case, the 8 is the blue line and the 34 is the red line. So when the blue crosses above the red, that's bullish. When the blue crosses below the red, it's bearish. Some people use like Heikin-Ashi charts. Some people will use the Renko charts. These are ones that I just tested and I felt that they were adequate. There are a number of other moving average crossover combinations that you can use. Okay. I've never used those. Okay. But you can go ahead and test them and see if they work for you. I mean, 8 and 34 are both Fibonacci numbers. I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm using those. You don't want it to be so fast that you have too many false entries, but you don't want it to be so slow that by the time that it triggers, you miss the move. You just need an indication that it's worth placing a bet. And that's why I use the crossovers. If you want to use something else, go ahead and test it first. And you can look up, I mean, I'm sure there are a ton of videos on moving average crossovers on YouTube. If you want to test a different one, then, I would just do it. Okay, and I did post that little thingy. Yep, okay. This goes down here. All right. Okay, so do you get the trigger then? It's basically, it's basically price action that you need to see to confirm that it's worth placing a bet. 834 is standard. I would not use the 513 unless, you test it first and see if it's too fast for you, that type of thing. For the market you trade, test it first. But the 513 is going to be more aggressive, a more aggressive entry. Yeah. All right, let's see. Did I miss any questions? Okay. Yeah, well, some of the best setups, again, will be, for the intraday stuff, will be any of the clusters or symmetry by itself. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing weekly or 4-hour charts on the Zoom. No. I mean, the daily charts, well, I mean, I didn't do them today yet because, like I said, I've been in meetings nonstop today. But here's your daily charts. Every once in a while, I'll do an S&P Cash Weekly, or if there's something else that, like I looked at Apple Weekly. But you have enough information to trade using the daily charts and the intraday charts. Okay, let's see. But obviously you can look at your own weekly and monthly charts. I don't even use. Yeah, I'm recording it now, so I can probably post it on. I might just post it on YouTube. Occasionally, there's a need to look at the weekly chart, but not every day. which is why I'm giving you daily charts every day, because you want, what's the bigger picture? And the bigger picture, okay, if you look at the daily time frame, you know that this is still a bullish chart. You're above the 200 simple, above the 50 simple, 5 and 13 are still in a buy mode. So we're still in a pullback mode, buying mode on the daily chart. Okay? But if you look at, well, let's see. Where is my... But if you're looking at and trading, like a 5-minute chart, it's a piece of garbage. So you have to decide what time frame you're trading. Are you more interested in the swing trade against like the larger support when it finally triggers? Or are you interested in scalping the market during the day and finding setups on, whether it's a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart or the 30-minute charts that I use? I'm not sure there was a setup here. But if you're looking at this chart, you're going to set up the sell side. But on the daily chart, buy side. So I'm going to see if we move into one of these zones. And if it does and it holds, you go down to the lower time frame chart and wait for your 15 or 30-minute chart trigger for a buy. I mean, if you're going to using Bollinger Bands, you're trying to use a totally different technique, right? I can't help you with that because that's not what I do. I have no idea how to use Bollinger Bands, and I don't care. But if you want to use it and you know how to use it, feel free to do so. Does it match up with my work? If it doesn't, it's going to be confusing. And again, you're not just going to be a buyer because you're at the low end of a Bollinger Band. Do you have any signal that tells you that you should be a buyer? This method gives you the levels and timing. Timing's not always going to match up, but you always have these, the levels and stuff. It's just setup plus trigger equals trade entry, and then you manage it. Okay, again, you're giving me private messages. We want to ask everybody the same question. So what about harmonic patterns? Okay, are you talking about like Larry Pesavento's stuff? Or is a two-step pattern considered to be a harmonic pattern? Again, that's not my buzzword. I'm giving you Fibonacci time and price. I'm giving you clusters, symmetry setups, and two-step pattern setups. Now this won't be a two-step pattern because this is not, you're way beyond the 100%. So that's not a two-step. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not offering harmonic patterns. I don't know if what I'm doing is what you would call a harmonic pattern. I'm just doing what I do. The 3 setups. We look for those 3 setups every single day. But you don't see the two-step patterns much at all. The other 2 you see every single day. I would just go to YouTube, and I think Thinkorswim has a channel, and just ask it how to add the moving averages. Because I barely use this. I mean, let's see if it goes to tools. No, I want to go to the charts. Style drawings. No, that's drawing tools. Studies. Add study. Moving averages, and then you choose the moving average. I'm using exponential. Here it is, moving average exponential. So that's on Thinkorswim. You know, it's going to be different for each platform that you use. But again, the YouTube is a wealth of knowledge. I got messed up in trying to delete like 1,000 emails one by one. So I went to YouTube and it told me how to delete all 1,000 at once because I couldn't find the box to tick. So that's good for those basics. Well, my study isn't much of anything. How do you do that? I don't see where I can share it. All you have to do, I like the bars instead of the candles. Yeah, I already have this saved. Okay. It doesn't let me share it. Where's the share button? All right, so where is that again? So you go to Save Study Set. Yeah, it's Thinkorswim. Where does it say share? Oh, geez. Where is a beaker? I don't know where a beaker is. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, and it's 2 to the left of that? Oh, okay. So how do I... So why won't it work if I hit share?
Mom and Dad are coming to Pensacola.
Yes. Awesome. I've got about another hour work.
Okay.
So why isn't this working? Cancel the save box. Cancel. Okay, so now just share. I probably can't even do that. Open link. Oh my God, what is all this crap? Why don't they make it simple? I don't know where the URL went, so let's try it again. This is... Okay, well... That's all. That's what it gave me. You know, and other people will use other indicators. They might use the, the squeeze stuff and all that good stuff, but okay. I mean, it's pretty simple to add the moving averages, but if that works too, that's fine. Oops, let me just get rid of this one. Okay, other questions? Because I still have to do the video today. So, what else do you have questions about? I mean, because all the information, I'd say, everything that you need to start is in this document. you know, including all the videos that I did and posted on YouTube. Okay, so does that help, or is there another question? Yeah, and if you guys have specific questions, okay, well then I would say go to YouTube and watch, you know, TD Ameritrade or Thinkorswim videos there, because yeah, and you'll have, I mean, you can go back to this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here. We've been going 46 minutes, and